Let's talk about endurance, shall we? Let's endure a chat about enduring the day-to-day. Let's not even look at what the dictionary says about endurance. Instead, let's look at the word. That's it, that's the whole presentation of it. Okay. And it's right there. At the very beginning of the word, with some gumption, with some balls. Warning you now, I'm gonna cuss, it's just gonna happen. Endurance. The very word calls out what it isn't, and then keeps going. Because endurance is making the choice not to end. To keep taking steps, to endure, is to make the choice to keep going when things get hard, when they seem impossible. The chips aren't just down, they're all broken at the bottom of the bag. Oh, that's the wrong kind of chip. But what's worse than a bag of broken chips, really? Especially when you've already been enduring your poor ass off every single day forever, and you still have forever to go. I have a story about endurance. Hell, I have a few. But if you don't know me, and we only have 20 minutes, so we're going to talk about the place we're in and how it has endured a few things. Maybe it will inspire you to get through something difficult. Maybe it'll help you understand that we're only here for a limited time, and it's worth it to see what we can do to survive, to keep going, to choose to keep going. I'm a brew pub owner. I'm a creative person, but in my bones, I'm a copywriter, and I always have been. If you read a few of the teachers in my childhood who knew I was a writer at a young age, creativity has a way of spilling out like blood and staining your clothes for everyone else to see, doesn't it? So back in 2016, my designer husband was the one-man advertising department for Liquid Brewing Company, the third production brewery in the Dallas area. The owner was a friend of ours from our Tracy Lock days, which is how my husband ended up at Lakewood, in case you were wondering. Craig, my husband, rhymes with keg, so now you'll remember. And I loved Lakewood. We loved it so much, we wanted a smaller version of it here in Lake Highlands, where we bought a home that we were planning on filling with dogs and kids. So at the time, we had 2 dogs, 1 kid, and another one on the way. This was how we announced our daughter. He's the art director. I can't draw stick figures. Because we're ad creatives, we started naming this hypothetical brewery hangout place, and just for fun, because I'm a copywriter and I have a really warped sense of what's fun, I started researching and writing a business plan. And then our daughter was born, and we kind of put this hypothetical brew pub place on the back burner, as many people do with business plans, especially people who have children. Only we came back to it. So my mother-in-law, the infamous Peg Bradley, to know her was to love her. She was one of those people who aren't allowed to go too soon, but she did anyway. And she left a really big hole, as all wonderful people do. And Craig and I realized that tomorrow's not guaranteed, and we should follow our dreams and give this little business a shot, because Peg would have really gotten a kick out of it. So, challenge number 1. The first thing we had to endure was completing the business plan. So, is this idea feasible? Could it make money? Could it endure? Has anyone here ever worked on a business plan for yourself and got the business open and kept it open? Yeah, congratulations, man. This is hard. All right, we'll just take their word for it. That part's it ain't easy. All right, challenge number 2, getting money. So we have this plan. It's a good plan. It could work if nothing in the world ever changes ever. Only one of these things did not happen to us. And just keep going. Oops, went too far. All right. Oh, I gotta go to all this again. All right, but seriously, how do you get over $1 million when you yourself aren't worth anything near $1 million? Well, you ask people for money, which sucks, but endurance isn't easy. So Vector ended up getting approved for a doozy of an SBA loan, over $1 million. And we asked for way less than that. Let's just say it was a very good business plan written by some advertising creatives. So we'll fast forward through the nitty-gritty of getting approved for an SBA loan because it's a doozy too. Anyone here ever gotten like a mortgage?
Yes.
Okay. Have you gotten an SBA loan? Yeah, it's like getting 20 mortgages at the same time. It's, if we're doing it again right now. So, okay, we're still in 2017, 2018. We're on the fast track to get Vector Break open. The bank wants to fund us. We've ordered like $300,000 worth of stainless steel tanks. We signed a lease for a terrifying amount of money. And then the government shuts down. Who saw that one coming? Although now I think that's just like normal. Now the government shuts down all the time, but this isn't about politics. So it was a partial shutdown. The general public didn't necessarily care or mind because it was the TSA. We all hate the TSA. And it was the SBA, which only impacts like, small businesses, especially small businesses trying to get funded. So we endured creatively. In fact, we ended up on all but one local news outlet. We were on the cover of the Dallas Observer with my little monkeys. They're so cute. My PayPal started getting little micro donations equaling enough money for us to pay the first month's rent and put a down payment on that gigantic brewing system back there. And then our local congressman, shout out Congressman Allred. Said we wouldn't get political, but he really does care. He ended up reaching out and asking for help. Because one of the big problems with the shutdown was the SBA was gonna have a backlog when it reopened, right? Usually it takes 40 days to close an SBA loan. They were predicting 6 months. Which would have tanked Vector. That's it, we would have been done. So we were just kind of joking, well, could you push our loan to the front? And he did. We got funded in record time. It took 2 weeks. It was crazy, it was insane. We didn't sleep much. But the SBA didn't really know how to handle the whole PayPal situation. That was fun. So anyway, we were flush with cash, we were on Easy Street, USA, baby. Everything would be sunshine and rainbows moving forward, and then we went through construction. I won't get too into this, but I'll just say that when someone other than you holds the construction permit of your property, they have you, and you're stuck with them. Even if the plumber doesn't know how to adjust the maximum temperature of the hot water heaters and you end up doing it yourself. And then we probably have at least one plumbing thing to fix every week since, and it's been almost 4 years. So I'm now an unlicensed plumber. All right. La la. Oh yeah, they charge on the toilet. Okay. One more. There we go. All right, so this is the big one. This is the hairy one. Construction was coming to a close. We were slated to open in March of 2020. So we're in March now. It's the first week of March. We're feeling good. We heard about this COVID thing. We weren't really worried. How bad could it possibly be?
2 weeks.
Shelter in place. Essential businesses only. Breweries and bars aren't essential. Are you fucking kidding me? It is not looking good. Okay, so it felt like our legs had been blown off at the thighs at this point. One of the stores in this shopping center, true story, the owner was in the store and a city official came by and told her she couldn't be there. So, yeah. So we were like, what, can we open? Well, behold, our kitchen. Now we're a restaurant. Now we're essential. Whatever. Okay, but we weren't physically set up for operating out the door. Like a to-go operation and a dine-in operation are so astronomically different. So how do you launch a restaurant pub without customers? How do people order? Guys, this was before like online ordering was really a thing. Like Pizza Hut did it because they built their own system, right? How do you put every single item in a box? Where do you do that? We didn't have the space back there to do that. How do we package all of that beer? We didn't have a canning line. We have a draft system. We had a can seamer that did one can at a time. And it was an average of like a minute and a half per can. So if you wanted a 4-pack, you're looking at like 7 or 8 minutes. It's fun, it's fun, it's fun. Oh yeah, and the landlord was like, hey, still gotta pay your rent. That's it, we're done, we're out, we're never opening. So Craig and I were on a walk with the kids, and that's when we got the news that shelter in place was happening. I remember exactly where in the neighborhood we were when we got those news. So we, we made the choice to keep moving forward, to literally keep walking in that moment for our family and for our business. We'd already been through so much. So what's one more thing? What's one more thing? So the 2 or 3 weeks we got the pub as ready as we could with our very young children there nonstop. Any parents here? Yeah, y'all know. Y'all know. It's, yeah. I love my kids, but it was like, don't away. It was so much. My daughter turned 3 the week that was supposed to be spring break, which ended up being almost a 6-month hiatus from school for most kids. So her frozen birthday party got canceled. Instead, I ran to Misfits, which is like a toy store over there, right before they had to shut down. And, because they weren't deemed essential, but I beg to differ. And I got her the only scooter they had in stock. It was green. Her favorite color was purple. So on her birthday, I made Elsa cupcakes. And our little family of 4 and our brewer Tommy sang her happy birthday at that table. It wasn't the birthday I wanted for her, but it really was full of love. And she loves Tommy, so she was okay with it. But this little scooter, she rode that scooter all over this tap room. Just a little beast on wheels. She still rides it through this tap room. It's hilarious. Although she's taller now, so she can't go under the tables anymore. But together as a family, we endured, and we promoted, and we worked. So on Friday, April 3rd, 2020, 4:55 in the afternoon, 11 of us, Craig, Tommy, our manager John, our kitchen manager Ree, our only kitchen employee Ruben, our only bartender Nick, our 2 children, Lennox and Fallon, the guy who sold us our point of sale system, and the onboarding guy from Toast, and me. I was there too. we held hands in the center of the tap room. So these tall tables weren't installed on the floor yet because we had temporary tables up because we needed somewhere to package all that pizza. So yeah, we held hands in the center of the room, and Craig and I thanked them, and we mentally prepared ourselves for what we were hoping to be a busy night. At 5 o'clock, our online ordering system, which we had never used, came online, and the receipt printer at the cashier started printing, and printing, and printing. At this point, I'm outside with the toast guy and like this handheld, trying to take orders from a line of 20 people who were standing outside in the freezing rain. I was elated, shivering, but elated. And I came back inside to Craig and John, panic screaming that the printer was broken. So I looked at the order screen. I had never looked at an order screen in my entire life. Like, the training was subpar, to say the least. And I saw all these blinking boxes, and they had names on them. And I realized, it's like, these are all different orders. These are all different orders! And then John starts screaming, shut it off, shut the damn thing off! And no one knew how to shut it off, not even the toast guy. It was madness. So we got 103 orders in the first 3 minutes of opening. So this is 5:05 at this point. 2 people in the kitchen, 2 guys showed up to say congratulations, and we're like, you're hired. So oh my God. At 9:18, we ran out of pizza dough. And so now we're like, how do we tell these people we have to refund them? It was chaos. People were all over the parking lot. You saw this parking lot. It's terrible. How are we supposed to know what car gets which order? We were not ready. But night 2, John had come up with this system. So my kids had this IKEA marker board that we drew a map of the parking lot. My job was to take this little toast handheld, which I'm figuring out at this point. I'm figuring it out. I run up to cars as they pull in, and I find the order number, and I stick a Post-it on their car, and then I come back and update a map. Yeah. Even at our busiest, we could only do about half of what we consider a decent Saturday now. We didn't know that. We didn't know what we were capable of, but we endured. We took a lot of steps. It was really fun at the end of the night, all comparing our fitness trackers. We got our asses handed to us over and over again, but we opened every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all out the door, and this is how we operated for 2 months. Then the ever-changing rules, masks, distancing, sanitizing, rinsing, repeating. This is how we operated for 2 years. New businesses hemorrhage money. It's part of it. Unless you've opened a business, you don't really understand the whole 3 to 5 years to make a profit thing. When you live it, you get it. But we were losing money at a faster rate than we should have because of COVID, because of changing rules, because of fear, because of the cost of all of that sanitizer. Yet, here we stand. Here we miraculously somehow endure. So we made a choice every day to keep going, take the next step, whether it was paying a bill or opening the doors or to actually take a step. It would have been easy to stop. It'd be easy to stop now. Things haven't gotten much better. Things are still impossibly hard. This industry has a huge hole that it's trying to dig itself out of, and now we're in the middle of some kind of recession and climate change and anxiety. The chips are still down. But here we are, still going, still stepping, still enduring. And we'll keep enduring until we hit the wall we can't climb over or break down. Because endurance is a choice. Endurance is a fight. And we'll throw punches until our bodies give out. So this is our Christmas card that year. We're known for our Christmas cards. And that's it. I almost called this or how I learned to stop worrying and love the bomb, but I didn't know how many people would have gotten that. It was already taken. Anyway, I'm Veronica Bradley. Thank you so much for listening to our story.
Hey.
Okay, go on time.
We got 5 minutes for questions, and of course, you'll be around afterwards if there are any other questions, but yes. 5 minutes for questions, everyone.
Nothing's off the record. Yeah.
My main question is, I'm pretty, I don't know, I feel like everybody's kind of thinking, like, how did you prevent from, like, losing your shit?
I lost my shit. I lost my shit on a regular basis. Craig and I, this was, it's so important to have a good partner because, like, we have a very good habit, I guess, of when one of us is absolutely going insane, the other person is somehow able to, like, stay grounded. And we take turns doing that. More me. I mean, I've had my moments, but they're very bad. I don't know, like, and this is why I say it's a choice, because, like, mental health is a struggle, but sometimes you literally have to slap yourself in the face and say, fucking get over it, right? And that's kind of what we had to do. And it's, it's really hard to start a business. It takes a lot. There's a fine line between, like, insanity and, like, just wanting to do something and courage. And I think we just told ourselves it wasn't enough. And, not to say there weren't fights, there wasn't shouting, there wasn't crying. I mean, we've come close to shutting down so many times that I'm at the point now where it doesn't faze me anymore. I'm like, so what? What if I go bankrupt? What are they gonna do? We'll just drive to Canada in the middle of the night. It's fine. That's fine. I know people in Toronto will be good. But yeah, it's just it's a roller coaster. You hang on and try not to throw up. Yeah. Anyone else?
What do you think was the biggest innovation for your business or the industry that came out of, we'll say the pandemic specifically, like this situation, but you were saying, like, you weren't set up to take orders, but you guys created a system and found people. So, like, what space of creativity did you get into to make it work?
That is a beautiful question. There were a lot of technological advances, honestly. Man, the QR code had a moment. Remember we were all, like, trying to push QR codes and just they wouldn't take? Yeah. And then COVID came and the QR code, like, busted through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man. It was like, here I am! Online ordering definitely, not that I created that system, and it existed before, but not in the way it does now. I love all that stuff. I really fought it, but now I see the beauty in it. It relieves my staff a little bit. And then specifically for brewing, I wouldn't even say, this is where lawyers are creative in the Texas Craft Brewers Guild because they got some laws changed during that time that saved a lot of our asses. And without getting too into the legals of it, beer is more regulated than any other kind of alcohol, and there's reasons we won't get into. But some laws changed, like there's a 51-49 rule. So like a place like us, 51% of your sales have to be food, 49 can be alcohol. And we were like, oh my God, they're gonna shut us down. And they basically changed the law that, like, beer that goes out the door doesn't count. So we were like, oh, now we're on this side now, and we're good. That was a huge one. Breweries, so we're a brew pub. Breweries couldn't sell beer out the door. They weren't allowed. They weren't even allowed to tell customers where to go buy their beer. Really, imagine going to any business and being like, hey, where can I buy your stuff? And they're like, I can't tell you. Like, it's so stupid. So those are the two big things that come to mind that just, like, changed everything for people. And yeah, just made it a little easier to operate. Not a lot easier, but a little easier. So little is good. I'll take a little.
Okay, we get one more question.
Can you tell us how the kids' curfew came about? We love our children, but we don't love them after 8 o'clock. Kids need sleep. Little kids need sleep. And there's nothing worse. There's a lot of things worse. But it sucks when you're like in a place and you want to be adults and you want to say bad words and you want to listen to whatever, heavy metal rap over the speakers, and someone has a fucking 4-year-old there. Like, what? So we figured anyone who should be in bed by 8 o'clock needs to not be here. So anytime there's a parent that like fights us on it, we're like, you're the kind of person we don't want here with their kids after 8 o'clock, because your kids are going to be the one climbing up the poles, jumping on stuff, ripping the furniture apart, throwing pillows at people. And yeah, we've gotten some pushback, but most people like it. It's kind of funny. It's almost worked too well because at 8 o'clock, it's like ghost town. Everyone leaves. And then there's like 6 dudes, shotgunning beers on the patio. But my kids aren't here. They're at home asleep because they're little. But yeah, so we're big fans of kitty curfew. Yeah, my staff is real big fans of kitty curfew.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. That was your endurance, your grit, your perseverance is so inspiring. And please come back, enjoy the beer, enjoy the pizza, the beautiful patio out there. If you haven't been out there, it's amazing. Craig did all the murals, y'all.